Good day, I'm Rayline Coetzee from Bright Star Lifestyle, where we want to come alongside you and say yes to joy. Now, part of our experience as human beings is that we are in communication, in conflict, that we live alongside each other. And sometimes we have to have conversations that is not comfortable. So today we're going to tackle the subject of crucial conversations. Some people call it courageous conversations. Now listen to what Dorothy Neville has to say. She says the real art of conversation is not only to say the right thing at the right time, but to not say the wrong thing at the tempting moment. Sometimes we need to go into a crucial conversation. But why would we have to have a crucial conversation? Now, in the mentor program in Bright Star, we talk about crucial conversations, and we say these 3 reasons why crucial conversations is necessary. The first thing is the stakes are high, or when the emotions are high, or when we have varied opinions. We need to go into a crucial, courageous conversation to discuss this. And usually when you have awesome goals, you will have to have a crucial conversation along the way. Before we get to the conversation, there's a couple of things we need to remember. The first thing is we need to deal with our fear, but we also need to deal with our ego. Fear is probably one of the main reasons why we do not go into a crucial conversation. One way to look at your fears, to look at your excuses. Maybe you're saying, maybe the situation isn't that bad. Or if I ignore this problem, it might go away. Or maybe the problem isn't worth mentioning. You can be fearing rejection. Maybe you're just feeling vulnerable. 2 helpful questions to ask yourself is, if I do not have this conversation, am I willing to deal with the consequences? And if I do not have this conversation and the consequences becomes a reality, would I be okay with that? Be brutally honest with yourself on these 2 questions, and that will help you to get the fear out of the way and get the motivation to go and talk to somebody about whatever it is that's standing in the way of freedom in the relationship. The other part that we have to deal with before we go into a crucial conversation is to deal with your ego. You have to get yourself out of the way. In the conversation, we want to be real. We want to be authentic. We have to get ourselves and any entitlement out of the way. Otherwise, we will go into our emotions. We might carry our frustration or anger into the conversation. And then usually we want to get to the point where we want to be right. In a crucial conversation, it's not about right or wrong. It's about the outcome in the end. Douglas Stone says, when you're now busy with a conversation, the single most important thing that you can do is to shift your internal stance from I understand to help me understand. Everything else follows from that. So we have to move our internal stance, the position that we come from, into the conversation. Now you can stop for a moment and discuss, what challenges do you experience that stops you to ask for a crucial conversation? So what is stopping you? Maybe it's fear, maybe it's ego. and then also discuss what can help you to overcome this and get to the point of going into a crucial conversation. Now we're in the conversation, what do we need to remember? Ask questions to stay in a state of curiosity, in a state of exploring and trying to understand. Maybe none of you will have the right answers, and that's okay. Give yourself grace not to be perfect. Give yourself grace not to have all the answers. Ask if you don't know. Find ways to build trust. Don't go into the conversation with preconceived ideas. Give the other person the benefit of the doubt. Trust them to have positive intentions. Don't go into the conversation with the idea, yes, that person is not going to listen to me. They don't think much of me, so they won't listen. Set a positive and neutral tone in the conversation. Prepare yourself. Think through what you want to say. Shift your mindset to one of being open, where you seek to understand. Maybe you can start the conversation with the following words. Thank you for trusting me to be in this moment together. I'm here to understand an experience that is not my own. I'd like to give you 4 more pointers while you're in the conversation. First thing is, know why you are having the crucial conversation. The clearer you are on the why of the conversation, the easier it will be to get yourself in the conversation and also to stay in the conversation. What do you want to achieve? There's 3 questions that you can ask yourself. It's what are you trying to achieve? What are you listening for? And what gives you the right to be in the conversation? Try and define your why as clear as possible. The second thing is prepare to experience discomfort. A crucial, courageous conversation mostly goes on in an area where you discuss the undiscussable. Maybe you're uncomfortable with what you hear. Maybe the other person will be uncomfortable. But expect discomfort. So it's very important to get the other person in agreement on what you're going to discuss. Be real about your expectation. If it's a very sensitive, a real problem, or a problem that has been around for quite a while, you might not get to your expectation in the first conversation. Stay in the conversation, in the communication, until you get to a point where you all are comfortable with the outcome. Also, make sure that you always come back to the why of the conversation. Agree on the why, and then always come back to the why of the conversation. And therefore, you can always push to get to the end, or to go further with the communication so that you can get to your why. Also, set the emotional tone of the conversation. The more sensitive the issue is, the more raw and exposed your emotions would feel. If your emotions are quite high, do not go into the conversation until you've calmed yourself. Sometimes it's good to sit down and to write whatever you're feeling, so that it's not the first time you deal with your emotions when you're in the conversation. If your emotions becomes too high in the conversation, ask for time out. Take a step back and just first deal with your emotions. Otherwise, you're going to struggle to listen and to hear the other person. And that's what this is about. We want to seek to understand the other person and always come back to the why of the conversation so that you can keep on going. So remember, know why you are in the conversation. Prepare to experience discomfort. Be real about your expectation and set the emotional tone of the conversation as being positive and neutral. Stop for a moment and discuss these 4 aspects. Which one is the most challenging and how can you grow in it? The reason why we are in crucial conversations is to look forward to solutions and not backwards to blame. It's often a hard conversation, a conversation where we're vulnerable, where we need to be transparent, and we might mess it up sometimes. But don't give up. Keep on going. Do it again and again if you need to. There is a couple of mistakes that we can try and avoid. The first is don't talk too much. But also don't oversimplify. Keep an open and neutral tone. Make sure your message is clear. Be careful to over-rehearse. Prepare, you must prepare, but be careful to over-rehearse because then you've got like a script in your head and you're pushing the conversation there. And you need to be in a space where you say, I seek to understand. I'm here to understand. Help me understand. And when you're caught off guard, don't lose sight of the goal. Don't go to combat mode or blaming mode. Stay in the mode of I'm seeking to understand. You may not always get the outcomes that you want. However, if you keep on having courageous, crucial conversations, you will discover that your personal and professional life will be able to thrive in a way that you never thought would be possible. A French poet, Apollinaire, said, come to the edge, he said. They said, we are afraid. Come to the edge, he said. They came. He pushed them, and they flew. Come to the edge with your conversations. Come to the edge. Come and do your courageous, crucial conversation. And you will discover that you will be able to fly so much more than what you ever imagined. That your relationships will go to another level. An unexpected, positive, growing, thriving level. Take care.